evening, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, I will call into open session this meeting of the Arlington ISD Board of Trustees on December 13th, beginning at 7:01 p.m. Thank you, everybody, for coming out this evening. We will start our meeting with the opening ceremony. Please join Mr. Chapa in leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, and if you could also please silence cell phones and any electronic devices to avoid disruptions to those around you. And if you would also join me in a moment of silence, please. Thank you. All right. So the first item on our agenda this evening is the student performance by the Martin High School Show Choir. Miss Bordeaux.
The Martin High School Varsity Show Choir is composed of 24 juniors and seniors. These students are just a small portion of the almost 400 members of the Martin Choral Program. The Martin Choral Program has been recognized by the Texas Music Educators Association and the American Choral Directors Association multiple times for their musical excellence, and will be traveling to London, England this spring to perform alongside the Martin Symphony Orchestra. Students in the MHS Choral Program represent almost every club and organization on campus and boast many students enrolled in AP and honors courses. Tonight, the Martin Show Choir will be spreading some holiday cheer with their performance of You'll Be Swinging. The choir is directed by Kate Owens, Betsy Howerton, and Dylan Corder.
I don't know if there'll be snow, but have a cup of cheer. Have a holly jolly Christmas. And when you walk down the street, say hello to friends you know and everyone you meet. Oh, oh, the mistletoe hung where you can see. Somebody waits for you, kiss her once for me. Have a holly jolly Christmas, and in case you didn't hear, oh by golly, have a holly jolly Christmas, a swinging Christmas this year. We'll have a holly jolly swinging Christmas this year. When we finally kiss goodnight, come on, but if you really hold me tight, all the way with you, the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still dividing, but as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hung where you can see every couple tries to stop. Rocking around It's all feeling when you hear voices singing, let's be jolly. Deck the hall with boughs of holly. Woo! Rocking around the Christmas tree. Have a happy holiday. Everyone dancing merrily in the new old-fashioned way. You'll be swinging, bells are ringing, and singing, have a happy holiday, holiday. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you very much for a great performance. I'd love to say meeting adjourned. Let's go home. And Dylan Corder, Betsy Howerton, thank you so much for all you do. I know Kay Owens is probably watching, and we wish her all the best with her not being able to be here this evening. Thank you, students. For those that don't know, these guys probably perform at least once a day, if not twice a day, this time of year. So thank you for taking the time to come into the boardroom this evening and give us some great entertainment and merriment. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. All right. Next up on our agenda, we're actually going to move the item D under program and presentation up now, the special employee recognitions. Ms. Bordeaux. Mrs. Bordeaux.
President Reich, Dr. Cavazos, members of the board, tonight we're here to celebrate some of our staff members who have been involved with life-saving efforts over the last year and a half. I want to introduce the 4 groups and then we'll present them with certificates. From Sherrod Elementary, we're joined by Jeremy Parks, who is actually now the PE teacher at Key Elementary, Nicole Pollard, and Jen Wren. Unable to join us this evening are Denise Kroger and Tina Gifford. These individuals sprang into action when a woman had a medical emergency in the drive. They called 911, removed her from her vehicle, and used the AED. The paramedics were able to get her pulse back when they arrived. Unfortunately, she later passed away, but these staff members did everything they could to help her in her time of need. From Arlington High School, we have Sarah Hiroman, Jackie Tucker, and Dexter Harris. Last spring, a representative from Brooke May's music company was visiting the campus when he had a heart attack. Sarah, Jackie, and Dexter, along with the security team, helped him by using the AED and performing CPR. He was breathing again when the paramedics transported him. He did have to have surgery, but had it not been for their immediate response, he would not have survived. From Wimbish Elementary, we have Julie Reichert and Deborah Wall. Earlier this fall, Julie and Deborah helped a student who was having a seizure and respiratory distress. The AED was used and they were able to help the student until the paramedics arrived. And then from Bowie High School, we have Danny DeArmond. This fall, Danny rescued Eden Russum. She was stuck in her vehicle that was swept off in floodwaters. Danny pulled her out of the vehicle and carried her to safety. Eden surprised him earlier this fall at a special pep rally on campus to thank him, but we were excited to recognize him along with the others here tonight. If you and Dr. Cavazos want to join us down here, we'll present the certificates.
I will in just a moment. If I could have all of you please stand first of all. I think we should all be standing for you. Congratulations. That's amazing. Yeah, we'll head down in just a moment. The opportunity for us to recognize you in this chamber is such a bare minimum least we can do. Thank you. Literally saving lives. And I know most of you will probably have the attitude of being a little bit embarrassed to even be here and talk about this. You deserve the recognition. You deserve the honors. we all hope that we would do the same thing faced with the same situation. Thank you for leading by example. Thank you for setting whether you realize it or not, a tenor and tone for the students of this district. They look up to you, and you have given them something to hold into their heart and their soul to champion as they move forward in life, and each and every one of us in hopes that when faced with that emergent situation that we would have the ability to function and act the same way you did. Thank you very, very, very much from the bottom of my heart, of all of our hearts here. So now Dr. Cavazos and I will come down.
Okay, if we could have Jeremy, Nicole, and Jim come forward first.
So yeah, Spence is probably, oh, there you are. Well, you're here, so you're not going to be mad at me there. You always make sure we speak into the mic. So well, let me first off say thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. These are pins that are our school board pins that we wear, and we only present to those deserving. And you guys deserve about 20 or 30 of these things. Thank you. Thank you, and that's to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for what you have done. And in this holiday time of year, it's wonderful to be able to spread a little bit of extra joy, and thank you for everything. Absolutely, absolutely.
Right here.
Yep.
One more.
Sarah, Jackie, and Dexter.
And we'll go through the same announcement on the pins. You've got it. Thank you so very much.
Julie and Deborah. And now he needs a picture with y'all looking at him. Danny.
Thank you, Coach.
Rennie needs one.
No, I took one.
Okay.
Thank you all for coming. As dedicated servants, some are parents, and this holiday time of year, we moved it up on the schedule so they could see some performances that they need to get to as well. So enjoy your evening. Thank you very much. Okay, next then we will resume our agenda, Student of the Month. Let's see. Go ahead, Dr.
Thank you,
Cavazos.
President Rice, and we invite Principal Hagman to come forward and present our Student of the Month from Lamar High School. Principal Hagman, welcome.
Welcome, President Reich, members of the board, Dr. Cavazos. Thank you for the opportunity to recognize one of our students. Our student that we are recognizing this evening is Josiah Mercado. He is a senior at Lamar, and just a couple of the things that exemplify what he does and are indicative of the kind of young man that he is. He is on the leadership council of our varsity football team, and he is held in the highest regard by our coaches and by his teachers. He's a member of our National Honor Society. He is also a four-year member of AVID and just an extraordinary participant in the AVID program at Lamar High School. He's also a part of our guiding council, which is a group that we have on campus that looks at how we structure our instruction at the school. And it involves staff members, it involves students, and he has provided us some wonderful insight, and we very much value his opinion and his thoughts. And so he's just an extraordinary young man, and I just couldn't be more proud to honor him here tonight. So, Josiah Mercado.
Some amazing words. Thank you. Always. I'm Josiah. Of course, I always have my amazing support system with me. My mom, my sister, my uncle, my aunt, and my two coaches and my counselor. And I just want to say it's an honor being up here, just being recognized for my activities inside of school and outside of school. And I just plan to further this leadership in these activities and my education at maybe University of Houston or Howard University, and majoring in psychology. So yeah, I just want to thank you guys.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Well, we couldn't be more proud of and for you for what you do and what you exemplify in what is the best type of student that we hope to have in our district. And you are leading by example for your peers and for those younger ones in the cluster coming up. Thank you for doing that. We wish you amazing success, which we know you will have moving forward into college once you pick, which it's nice to have choices.
Yes,
And appreciate you throwing the shout out to the coaches that are here as well. Thank you guys. Great season. Great season. Congratulations on that. Dr. Cavazos and I would like to come down and give you something. Congratulations. So, yeah, I better do this for Spence so he kind of picks up our ambient here. As you heard before, we present these pins. It's not an everyday occurrence. And we just presented them to a lot of individuals that literally were saving lives in our district. So it's not a simple thing, not an easy thing that we give out lightly. So I give this to you to do with what you will. I'm sure you'll want to wear it every day for the rest of your life. But seriously, thank you very much for being a great representative of AISD and Lamar High School.
And Josiah, we have this as a kind of a memory for today. And thank you for being such an outstanding student and leading the way for many students at Lamar High School and being an example for young people. So congratulations to you. Thank you.
All right, very good. Thank you. And congratulations, family. Thank you. Wonderful. All right.
Graduation next. Yeah, soon. Graduation.
Very good. Congratulations, and thank you for supporting him. Thank you, coaches, for supporting him as well. And counselor. And principal. And great support. That's what it's all about. Wonderful. All right. Moving on, we have the National Merit Semifinalists and National Hispanic Scholars. Dr. Cavazos or Mrs. Bordeaux?
President Reich, Dr. Cavazos, members of the board, I would like to take a moment before we introduce this year's National Merit Semifinalists and National Hispanic Scholars to say a few words about these outstanding programs. The National Merit Scholarship Program is an academic competition for recognition and scholarships available to those students who take the PSAT and meet published requirements. Of the 1.6 million entrants, approximately 16,000 students are identified as semifinalists, and this year AISD is home to 5 of these outstanding students. The National Hispanic Recognition Program identifies outstanding Hispanic high school students and shares information about these academically well-prepared students with subscribing colleges and universities. Each year, nearly 5,000 outstanding Hispanic scholars are honored, and this year, AISD is home to 31 of these honorees, nearly double last year's total and more than we've ever had in the Arlington ISD. This evening, these students will be our first inductees of the year into the 2018-2019 Wall of Fame. At this time, I would like to invite our high school principals to come up one by one to introduce their students. Students, please come forward with your parents and line up when your name is called. Once all of the students from your campus have been introduced, we will ask you to introduce your parents if they are here and tell us where you plan to attend college. We will begin with Arlington High School Principal Shavir Dalla.
Good evening, Dr. Reich, Dr. Cavazos, members of the board. Thank you for having us here tonight to honor these awesome scholars. Ms. Bordeaux mentioned that this is the most that we've had ever, and I can't help but think that part of that is due to our tremendous counselors who put these students in the right position and the right courses to do so well. So I'd like to give a quick shout out to them. We have 9 of them at Arlington High. Megan Horn, Susie Hargrove, Kevin Newt, Beth Hancock, Misty Kilgore, Claudine Kemp, Brian Richardson, Layla Perez, and David Poling. And I know a few of them are in here, so we could give them a round of applause. So let me introduce our scholars. And first, we have Darcy Britton. And as she comes up with her family, I'm going to say a few things about her. She is our National Merit Semifinalist. Her future plans, she's going to study something in the field of physics. Next up, we have Angel Cardenas Trujillo, and he had a previous obligation, so he could not make it, but he is one of our National Hispanic Scholars, and he will be studying something in computer programming. Next up, we have Haley Diaz, and she is here with her family, if she'll come on down. She is a National Hispanic Scholar, and she hopes to be doing something in the medical field. Next up, we have Abel Lopez, and Abel, if you'll come down with your family. He is also a National Hispanic Scholar, and he is hoping to do something in psychology. And finally, we have Logan Vasquez, and Logan was unable to be with us today also, and he is a National Hispanic Scholar, and he is hoping to do something in network security. So some of Arlington's finest scholars.
Hi, my name is Darcy Britton. This is my mom, Melissa Britton, and this is my dad, Dale Britton. I would like to go to college at Brigham Young University, and I would like to study something in physics.
My name is Haley Diaz. This is my mom, Marty Diaz, and my dad, Fred Diaz. I plan on attending the University of Texas at Austin and majoring in neuroscience.
Good choice.
My name is Abel Lopez. This is my mom, Isela Lopez, and my dad, Jose Lopez. I plan to attend the University of Texas at Arlington, and I plan to major in psychology.
Oh, we can stand for this one.
Okay. Next, we have Arlington Collegiate High School, Principal Jeff Krieger.
Board President Dr. Reich, Dr. Cavazos, members of the board, thank you for this opportunity to recognize a few of our scholars at Arlington Collegiate High School. Before we talk about our students, I do want to recognize our junior-senior counselor, Ms. Kelly Hollick. Kelly does great work with our students on a day in, day out basis, working only in the moment with our classes at TCC and also at UTA, but also preparing them for their bachelor's degree and their careers when they leave us here after their senior year. All right, first up, my honor here as ACH principal to introduce our students here. Our first one is Christian here? Okay. All right, so Christian is not here, but Christian Obregon was named National Hispanic Scholar with a career goal of being a web designer. Next up is Salma Paredes, who is a National Hispanic Scholar and plans to work in city government. Salma, come on up. Bring your family. All right. Next up is Elizabeth Rodriguez. She was named a National Hispanic Scholar with a career goal of being a registered nurse. And Heriberto Cifuentes was also named a National Hispanic Scholar and plans to work in commercial construction management. And then our fifth scholar is Giovanni Trevino, and he was also a National Hispanic Scholar, and his career goal is being a lawyer.
Yeah, just a couple.
Hello, my name is Salma Paredes. This is my dad, Julio Paredes, and my mom is at home currently taking care of my 4 younger siblings. I am planning to go to the University of Texas at Arlington and majoring in political science.
I'm Elizabeth Rodriguez, and this is my mother, Apollonia Rodriguez. They call her Apple, like the fruit. This is my dad. His name is Flavio Rodriguez, and I plan to earn a bachelor's of science in nursing to be a registered nurse, and I'll probably do that at the University of Texas at Arlington.
My name is Heriberto Cifuentes. I'm here with my mom, Hilaria Cifuentes. My dad could not make it today. He's at work. His name is Ramon Cifuentes. And I also want to give a personal thanks to them, the rest of my family, and the Possum Customs Mechanic Shop for always supporting me and, you know, making sure I stay busy. And I want to pursue a Bachelor of Science in Construction Management. I want to attend UTA here in Arlington, and I hope to be some type of management on the commercial level on a construction site. Why not?
Hello, my name's Giovanni Trevino. I'm here with my mother, Diana Benavides. I want to first give a thankful to Ms. Fuller and Ms. Haggerty. They're right out here with taking pictures right now. I couldn't be here without them. They've supported me so much through pressuring Khan Academy, studying, those letters of recommendations I always pull off last minute, but I want to become a lawyer. I want to get a double major in political science and English, and I hopefully want to go to Yale University.
Congratulations. Next, we will move on to Lamar High School and Principal Andy Hagman.
Good evening again. We have 3 students to recognize tonight, but first I'd like to take a moment and recognize our counselors who do a fantastic job of preparing our students for what comes next in their path. Got a few here tonight, I believe. Glenda Simmons, Wendy Boyd, Teresa Davis, Dorian Jensen, Clarissa Savoy, Mariana Quintana, John Hammond, Becky Duncan, and Amy Casey. They do a fantastic job with our kids. Andrew Gladbach is the first person we'd like to recognize tonight. He is a National Hispanic Scholar. Andrew, come on down with Mom and Dad. He is going to study architectural or civil engineering. Also, we'd like to recognize Sophia Reyna. Sophia, did she make it tonight? Okay. Sophia Reyna is a National Hispanic Scholar. She's going to go to Wichita, she's going to study kinesiology and wants to be a physical therapist, and she will be attending Wichita State. And then also, our third person is Scarlett Spindler. Did Scarlett make it tonight? There she is. Come on down, Scarlett. Scarlett is going to study computer science or software engineering, and she is a National Hispanic Scholar as well.
So my name's Andrew Gladback. These are my parents, David and Shirley. Have not yet decided on where I plan on attending next year. I've applied to the University of Texas, Rice University, Vanderbilt University, the University of Notre Dame, and Stanford University. I plan on studying architectural engineering. So, thank you.
My name is Scarlett Spindler, and to the right I have my mother, Pele Spindler, and my grandfather, Max Spindler. I plan on going to the Carnegie Mellon University and studying computer science.
Congratulations. Next, we have Martin High School and Principal Marlene Ruddy.
Good evening, President Reich, Dr. Cavazos, Board of Trustees. First off, I would like to introduce my counselors who are here this evening to support our students that are being recognized, starting with our lead counselor, Susan Keenan, and they can just do a little wave out there back in the back. Suzanne Bandy, Jay Davis, Connie David, David Pyatt, Edwina Thompson, Sarah Stringer, Jarita Galbraith, Jana Lewis, Amy Benson, and Shaw Hatley Green. And I also would like to introduce the AP over Advanced Academics that's here to support these students, and that's Robin Griffith Yates. We are very proud of these students this evening, and I'm going to start, and we're just going to mix them up, National Merit and National Hispanic. So we'll start with Jackson Bartos, who's a National Merit semifinalist. He plans to study chemical engineering, and he says he would like to become a chemical engineer and work for some big engineering company so he can help shape tomorrow. Next, Kyle Dellenbaugh. He's a National Merit semifinalist. He would like to study architecture, and he plans to become a licensed architect. Is Kyle? Kyle's not here this evening. Mauricio Flores is a National Hispanic Scholar. He would like to study engineering, and he plans to be an aerospace engineer. Daniel Froelich is a National Hispanic Scholar. Yeah, we're probably going to have to move a little. He plans to study engineering, and he says he would like to use my skills for the improvement of society and the betterment for all. Next, we have Michael George. He's a National Hispanic Scholar. He plans to study computer science, and he wants to become a software engineer. Is Michael here? Yeah. Next, we have McKenna Guerrero. She is a National Hispanic Scholar. She plans to study public health and become a physician assistant. Is McKenna here? Okay. Next is Annabelle Hernandez. She is a National Hispanic Scholar. She plans to study environmental studies, and she wants to become an environmental lawyer. Next is Ji-Yoon Lee. She's a National Merit Semifinalist. She plans to study economics and business, and she would like to become a trend analysis marketing economics analyst. Next is Samantha Maldonado. She's a National Hispanic Scholar. She would like to study mechanical engineering, and she has not decided yet what her career will be. Is Samantha here? No, okay. Next is Mia Moore. She is a National Hispanic Scholar. She plans to study political science, and she would like to become a bioethics lawyer. Next is Aida Reyes. She would like to be, well, she's a National Hispanic Scholar. She would like to study biology, and she plans to have a medical career. Is Aida? Okay. Next is Alicia Shearer. She's a National Hispanic Scholar. She would like to study electrical and computer engineering. She says, I desire to innovate to improve society, and I would like to apply my mind to problems that will help others. Next is Samed Siddiqui. He's a National Merit Semifinalist. He plans to study biology, and he would like to become a doctor. Next is Trinity Stallings. She is a National Hispanic Scholar. She would like to study engineering, and she plans to solve a major problem in our society. Next is Colton Susteda Robb. He is a National Hispanic Scholar. He plans to study software engineering, and he says, I want to be a software engineer. Next is Karina Toconi. She is a National Hispanic Scholar. She plans to study human biology, and she would like to be a scientific researcher. And next and last is Brady Tarver. He's a National Hispanic Scholar. He would like to study electrical engineering, and he plans to be an electrical engineer. We are very proud of all of these students' accomplishments.
All right, so my name is Jackson Bartos. This is my dad, Chris Bartos, and this is my mom, Holly Bartos. I plan on studying chemical engineering at the University of Texas at Austin.
You're okay.
Hello, my name is Mauricio Flores. This is my brother Alberto Flores, my mom Elena Flores, and my dad Edmundo Flores. And I plan to study aerospace engineering at the University of Texas A&M.
Hi, my name is Daniel Froelich. This is my mother, Norma, and I plan on majoring in engineering at either Texas A&M, UT, or UTA.
Hi, my name is Michael. This is my dad. He's my example. Academically, I don't want what's going on up here. But I plan to study computer science at UT Dallas.
Good evening. My name is Annabelle Hernandez. First off, I'd like to thank the STEM Academy at Martin High School. They've been a big impact in my life. These are my parents, Christine Ortiz Hernandez and Michael Hernandez. I plan on either attending the University of Southern California, University of California at Los Angeles, or the University of Texas at Austin, and environmental studies to become an environmental lawyer.
Hi, I'm Ji-Yoon Lee. This is my mother, Kay, my brother, Joel, and my dad, Chinook. And I'll be studying business at the University of Texas at Austin.
Hi, my name is Mia Moore. This is my mom, Amparo Martinez, and this is my dad, Bill Moore. And yes, my name is a bilingual pun. Um, um, I plan on double majoring in biology and political science and hope to be a bioethics lawyer.
I'm Sumit Siddiqui, and I'm planning to go to UT Austin to study biology. This is my mom, Raheem, and
This is my mom, Cynthia, and my dad, David. I will be studying engineering out of state.
I'm Colson. This is my dad, David. This is my mom, Tabitha. And I'm planning to study software engineering at UTA.
Next, we have Sam Houston High School with Principal Fernando Benavides.
Dr. Reich, Dr. Cavazos, and members of the board, I'm glad to be here tonight to recognize our 5 National Hispanic Merit Scholars. I first want to recognize our counselors. First, our 9th grade counselors are Maya Gaines, Ruth Deanda, Marquita Whitaker. Our 10th grade counselors at SAM are Miguel Hernandez, McKee Roberts, and Beverly Click. And our 11th and 12th grade counselors are Teresa Thigpen, Ravine Singh, Suzanne Atlas, Cynthia Carter, Elias Mercado, and Bindu Kunju. Also, because our 5 students are part of IB and AVID, I want to recognize our IB teachers and coordinators and AVID teachers and coordinators. Courtney Dean, Sandy O'Brien, Armando Talamantes, and Veronica Gayona are all the teachers that teach the elective AVID courses. And I'm very proud of our AVID program. Currently up to date, they've earned $1.7 million in scholarships, so very proud of them. And then finally, our IB program coordinator is Poppy Moore. So I don't know if any of them are here tonight. All right, first we have John Charles. John Charles here tonight. A National Hispanic Scholar. He's going to be studying engineering, and currently he's undecided. Emmanuel Gonzalez, National Hispanic Scholar, currently undecided, but he wants to study mechanical or aerospace engineering. He said he will be able to do work doing something that he loves and be able to live comfortably. All right, next I'd like to recognize Jesus Jurado, a National Hispanic Scholar, currently undecided. He wants to major in business, and his dreams of becoming a CEO at a big company. Jesus, are you here? No? Okay, and next we have Aiden Kane, National Hispanic Scholar, currently undecided. He wants to study music ed, and his career goals are to be into music education. And then finally, Jesus Mendez, National Hispanic Scholar. He plans to attend UT at Austin, studying electrical engineering, and his goal is to be financially stable and maybe happy. So, congratulations. Thank you for the recognition.
My name is Emmanuel Gonzalez. Here's my mom, Angelica, and my dad, Armando. I want to study aerospace engineering or mechanical engineering. I'm not too sure which one yet, and I'm not sure where I want to go to study.
Hello, I'm Aiden Kane. I'd first like to thank Mr. Benavides and the staff of Sam Houston High School for making it such a great place to learn, and my family for making it all possible. I'd like to attend the University of Texas at Austin, hopefully studying music education.
Last but not least, we have Seguin High School. Mr. Borton couldn't be here this evening, but we have Heather Williams, one of their counselors.
Good evening, Dr. Rice, Dr. Cavazos, and members of the school board. I thank you for being here tonight. I would like to first acknowledge our counselors who support our students every day. Me, Mrs. Williams, the lead counselor at Seguin High School, Melanie Boer, Mrs. Jackson, Mr. Wells, Mrs. Carlin, and Mrs. Arsenault. I would like to acknowledge Matthew Blount to the stage with his parents. Tonight, Matthew is being acknowledged as a National Hispanic Scholar. Matthew has plans of pursuing a future career goal is becoming an AI software engineer. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Matthew Blunt. This is my mom, Maribel, and my dad, Brian. I would like to study computer science at either Massachusetts Institute of Technology or University of Texas at Arlington, whichever one lets me in. And that's about it.
Wow, that's all I can say is wow. That's impressive. Students, young adults, you are the cream of the crop. Just think about that. You are at the very, very highest percentage of achievers for these national merit programs. Out of 1.6 million, that's a lot of kids. That's a lot of applicants. You should really, really feel proud for your accomplishments. I'm amazed personally, not only at your accomplishment in this stature, but your aspirations as well. Oh my gosh, we are just in awe of the great things you're going to be contributing to this world as you graduate and move on to meet those aspirations, some of which were so complex, I thought to myself, A, that didn't exist when I was young, B, I wouldn't have understood it anyway. So congratulations. Let's give everybody another round of applause. I'd also like to say thank you to the parents for your support, to the families, to the counselors, and all of those in your school families that support you and have supported you. That is so very, very vital to have that love, that care, that support. And they will continue to be there, I'm sure, for you as you continue on your journey. You are officially dismissed. You don't have to stay here. We will be having a break probably in about 10 or 15 minutes, but please, by all means, if you want to go ahead. We'll pause for just a moment and allow you to leave and get on with your evening. Thank you and congratulations again. All right, we're going to go ahead and continue then. The next item on our agenda this evening is appointments. We have some introductions as well as the consideration of administrative appointments for Workman Junior High School and Berry Elementary. Dr. Cavazos.
Thank you, President Rice. I'd like to recommend the board appoint the individuals discussed in closed session for assistant principal for Workman Junior High and assistant principal for Berry Elementary.
Very good. Is there a motion? Ms. Walton?
I move we approve the recommendation.
Mr. Chapa?
And I would second the recommendation.
Very good. Any discussion? Nervous out there? Seeing none, please vote. All right, all those here this evening vote in the affirmative. Mr. Hogg and Mr. Hibbs are away and unable to be here this evening, so congratulations. Dr. Cavazos.
Thank you, President Reich, and it's my pleasure to introduce the Assistant Principal for Workman Junior High, Ms. Shayna Moore. Shayna attended the University of Memphis for Bachelor of Music, Union University for Master of Arts in Education. Most recently, the choir teacher at Workman Junior High, has also been a director of choral activities at Memphis City Schools, and has been an assistant store manager as well. So Shayna, congratulations.
Thank you. Dr. Reich, Dr. Cavazos, members of the board, thank you for this opportunity to speak before you today. First, I want to give praises to God, understanding with him, everything is possible. Without him, nothing is. I would like to give thanks to Dr. Jock Ho and Ms. McClendon for trusting me to serve in a greater capacity on our home campus, knowing that home is love. Please excuse my voice, it's gone. I'd also like to thank two people who I have bugged for the last 2 years with all the questions possible, and their answers were always more questions. They kind of changed my thinking and guided me to those answers that needed to happen. Thank you, Ebony Key and Jordan Williams. To my family, my first accountability partners, you know, your family's gonna keep you honest, and if that was an award, my family would win it every year. So first, I want to say thank you, Nakia, for your love, your support, your prayers, your encouragement. To my dad, who's watching in Memphis, hey, Daddy, I love you. To my brother and my sisters, the balance of my family in Memphis, my Virginia family, California, and my baby sis in New York, I love you guys, and thank you so much. To my family and friends that are here today, I understand it truly takes a village to raise a child, even more so an adult, and I would not be half the person I am without them today. Finally, to my Workman family, I'm beyond words excited to serve as an assistant principal on our campus. I am committed to our growth individually as well as a campus. I'm committed to our students' growth, and I am confident that together we'll get it done. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Next, I'd like to introduce the new assistant principal at Berry Elementary, Dr. Kathy Jackson Porter. Dr. Porter attended Jackson State University for a Bachelor of Science in Social Science Education, Jackson State University for Master of Arts in Guidance and Counseling, and Agrassi University for a doctoral degree in Educational Leadership. Most recently, the counselor at Berry Elementary, has been a counselor in Cedar Hill, counselor in Lake Worth ISD, counselor in Jackson Public Schools, has been an alcohol and drug counselor in Mississippi Department of Corrections, and has been a reading, writing, science, and social studies, and math, and GED teacher in the past as well. So, Dr. Porter, congratulations.
Thank you. Good evening. I would like to thank the board president, Dr. Aaron Reich, fellow members of the board, Dr. Cavazos, assistant superintendents Tracy Brown, Beth Hollinger, and my awesome principal, Tammy Rogers, for the opportunity to serve as assistant principal at Berry Elementary. Thank you to the Emerging Leaders Program for preparing me with the leadership skills needed to help guide and support instructional programs and initiatives on a campus. I would also like to thank my family and friends who have supported me on this long journey. I have my husband here, my two sons, Lance and Jonathan, my sister Angela, my niece Valencia, and my great niece Reagan. The role of assistant principal is a role that I take seriously. As the counselor at Berry Elementary for the last 7.5 years, I have formed relationships with students, parents, staff, and the school community that I value, and am fully committed in ensuring that our students grow into productive and global citizens. Robert Louis Stevenson wrote, "Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant." I will continue planting seeds of knowledge, seeds of success, seeds of exploration, and seeds of critical thinking. Today, I vow to plant the seeds of greatness to make Berry Elementary School a premier school in Arlington ISD and the nation. Thank you.
Thank you. So next, we have some introductions of some individuals who are at different positions that have already been at work, well at work, but we, through so many appointments, it's now time to introduce them formally. But let me assure you, they have been at it already. So we'll start with our new Senior Director of Social Emotional Learning, Luis Valdespino. Luis attended the University of Dallas for Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, University of Texas at Arlington for Master of Arts in Educational Administration and Policy Studies, and Southern Methodist University for Master of Education in Bilingual Education. He's most recently a curriculum coordinator in special education with psychological and counseling services, has been an assistant principal in Dallas ISD, has been an administrative liaison in Irving, assistant principal in ILT, an assistant principal, behavior teacher specialist, special education teacher, and also a photojournalist, editor, and supervisor in the Marine Corps. So, Luis, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, President Reich, Dr. Cavazos, members of the board. And I'd like to also thank Dr. Horton and Dr. Wirtz for giving me this opportunity, for entrusting me with the opportunity to lead the district's efforts to ensure that students receive social and emotional supports and learning opportunities that are imperative to their academic and life successes. You've given me a strong team, and they're a passionate team to work with and to achieve our goals. Many of the team is here at this time, which I appreciate. I anticipate that collectively we will see our staff receive more supports in this area, and our students will receive exponential growth. You'll see that from them. Thank you again for this opportunity.
So this next one is somebody who's already made a presentation before, and we didn't formally introduce him. So the Director of Fine Arts, Dr. Christopher Anderson. Dr. Anderson attended Abilene Christian University for Bachelor of Music Education, Northwestern University for Master's in Music, and the University of Texas in Austin for his Doctor of Musical Arts. Most recently, was the Executive Director of Fine Arts in Lubbock ISD, has been Director of Instrumental and Music Education at Arkansas Tech University, Associate Director of Bands in Texas Tech, Associate Director of Bands in Stephen F. Austin, Abilene Christian University Interim Assistant Director, and has been an Assistant Director of Bands in Keller ISD as well. Dr. Anderson, congratulations.
Thanks. First, I'd like to introduce my family. I have my wife here with me, and all 4 kids are in the same room at the same time, so it's a Christmas miracle. I think it's worth talking about. Dr. Amy Anderson here is a professor at TCU in nursing. Then my oldest is a freshman at TCU. This is Corbin right here. And then his little, not so much brother is a sophomore in high school. It's Hayden. Micah here is in 8th grade. He's our resident trombonist. And then the theater master and oboe giant Lily is our 6th grader. She runs the house, just in case you wondered. Dr. Reich, members of the board, and Dr. Cavazos, I want to thank you for the opportunity to work here in Arlington, in this incredible community, and with these incredible people. This position, without going into a long story, was really an answer to prayer for our family. I was commuting back and forth to Lubbock for 9 months before this all came through. And I just never expected that there would be an opportunity like this one, with this vibrant group of people, vibrant group of educators, inspired teachers across the district. I want to already give a special thanks to the fine arts staff, to Lynn, to Michael, Barbara, to Dee and Dawn. They are the very best colleagues that one could ask for to work with. It's a joy to come to work every day, and they have worked tirelessly to answer the questions that I've asked. So thank you again for the opportunity. I appreciate it so much.
Next, our Director of Guidance and Counseling, Talisa Brown. Talisa attended the University of North Texas in Denton for Bachelor of Science in Interdisciplinary Studies, Dallas Baptist University for Master of School Counseling. Most recently was the coordinator of secondary educational operations has been a lead counselor and test coordinator, a school counselor, a third grade teacher as well in Dallas ISD. Talisa, congratulations.
Thank you. President Reich, members of the board, and Dr. Cavazos. Langston Hughes once stated, "Hold fast to your dreams. For if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly." Hold fast to your dreams. For if dreams go, life is a desert field frozen with snow. What an honor it is to be given the opportunity to support a group of professionals who guide, counsel, and encourage our students to hold fast to their dreams. I would like to thank all of the Arlington Independent School District school counselors for their support. We have amazing school counselors. I would like to thank Dr. Tamala Horton and Luis Valaspino, along with Dr. Works, for your exceptional leadership and encouragement. I would also like to thank my family, my husband, and my 4 children for their love that keeps me grounded, humbled, and motivated to keep pressing forward. I am committed, I am thankful, and I'm very excited for this opportunity. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce our Director of Network Services, John Atchison. John has a degree from Tarrant County College in General Studies, has a number of certifications, A+ certifications, network certification, Microsoft, just to name a few. Most recently, a Director of Technology in Bourne ISD, and Little Elm ISD has also served as Director of Technology, Assistant Network Manager in Carrollton Farmers Branch, and a Unified Communications Team Lead in Fort Worth ISD and Network Manager in Crowley. His vast experience, John. Congratulations.
Thank you. Good evening, President Reich, members of the board, Dr. Cavazos. I'm just honored to be here tonight. I want to start by telling you how blessed I am to have this opportunity to be part of the Arlington ISD family. The improvements and the innovations that I continue to see on a daily basis has helped me solidify my decision to call Arlington ISD my professional home. Since my time here at Arlington ISD, I've had the pleasure to work with some of the most hardworking, innovative individuals, both within the IT division and throughout the district. I'm honored to work with and learn from our senior leadership and to be a part of their efforts of student-focused and continuous improvement. I want to take just a moment and thank the individuals involved in my appointment to the position, Mr. Chad Branham, Mr. Barry Fox, for seeing something in me worth taking a chance on. Thank you. To Dr. Cavazos for your inspiration and your endorsement. And to everyone else who has helped ease my transition here at Arlington ISD. And lastly, I'd like to thank both my wife, Amy, and my daughter, London. These two put up with me and my imperfections and quirks more than you'll ever know. And they deserve a lot more recognition and acknowledgement for that than I can give them here tonight. Again, thank you for your time.
And last but certainly not least, our Director of Professional Learning, Alita Driscoll. Alita attended Texas Wesleyan University for Bachelor of Arts in English Language Arts, Lamar University for Master of Education in Ed Administration. Most recently was our Director of Instructional Technology, has been a secondary ELA leadership development and coaching consultant at the Educational Service Center, has been an RTI testing specialist at Eagle Mountain Saginaw, and has also been a teacher, a campus instructional teacher, instructional coach, and a district mentor coordinator in Northwest ISD. Alita, congratulations.
Thank you. Dr. Reich, members of the board, Dr. Cavazos, thank you for the opportunity to serve Arlington ISD. It's a privilege to be here. I feel like I've found my educational home. I've watched for the last year as our district leadership has aligned principles to lead Arlington to greater excellence, and it's a privilege to serve with wise leadership. As a representative of our professional learning team, we're working to offer you brain-based professional learning. One of my favorite proverbs says, "A wise teacher makes learning a joy." And we want learning to be a joy for every student, every teacher, every administrator, and every staff member in our district. I'd like to thank Technology Integration and Innovation, Chad Branham and Barry Fox, for bringing me to Arlington initially. And I'd like to thank my husband, Dale. In many ways, you got quite a bargain when you got me, because you get both of us in that. He's my greatest supporter and best friend. Thank you.
Wow, congratulations to our new appointees and to those that have been here for a while, investing already in our children here. Thank you so very much. I heard accountability, I heard family, I heard leadership, I heard support, many other words that have been spoken by each and every one of you this evening, all with the outcome of student growth and student opportunity. Thank you for that commitment. We're happy to have you here, and excited to see your continuing contributions and your contributions to Arlington ISD students in our community. So thank you very, very much. As is our custom, I'd ask that you follow Mr. Kale out to the lobby so that we can welcome you and congratulate you in person. If I can please indulge the audience to wait for the board to go first so that we can get back in here and continue on in business, I'd appreciate that. It is 8:09. We will reconvene at 8:25. Thank you. welcome back into our session. The next item on our agenda is public hearing, but we do not have any. The open forum for agenda items, we do not have any cards. Thank you. And so we will move to the first action item A, consider the appointment of individuals to the 2019 Capital Needs Steering Committee and appointment of the committee chairs.
Thank you, President Rice, and this is an opportunity to appoint individuals to this committee, and our Community Engagement Committee has dealt with this at the board level, and so I will hand that over to Mr. Chapa.
Go ahead, Mr. Chapa.
Thank you, President Reich and Dr. Cavazos. We solicited applications starting about 2 months ago for the next Capital Needs Steering Committee. And Capital Needs Steering Committee is near and dear to my heart. It was one of the committees I started out on with my volunteer service for the district. And for those of you, see a few people here tonight who served on that committee as well or had a big hand in it. But it was the committee that came up with the $663 million bond package that really has just revitalized things in this district and got us moving down the road quite a bit. We recently had a facilities assessment done, and we've heard a report back on that. And of course, the needs that remain are still quite large. And so this committee will be tasked with winnowing down those that will be placed in the next bond package, which we are considering maybe late next year or sometime thereafter. The charge to the Capital Needs Steering Committee, I'm not going to read through it, but it does set out the different parameters that we have on the individuals who can serve. And I just want to run through those real quick. The committee can consist of up to 38 individuals. We received about 65 to 70 applications. At the board's discretion, individuals can come from the following backgrounds. The 3 AISD trustees, and for the purposes of this committee, it'll be the 3 board members who are currently on the Community Engagement Committee, which are Ms. Walton, Mr. Hibbs, and myself. 12 parents, 2. That's the Governance Committee. Ms. Fowler is on the Community Engagement Committee. We just had a Governance Committee meeting. 12 parents, 2 from each of the 6 high school clusters, the restriction being that the parent has to live within the high school network, even if their child attends a different school. 3 AISD principals, 1 from each grade level, high school, junior high, and elementary. 3 AISD teachers selected in consultation with the 3 largest teachers associations. 3 AISD employees who come from a non-administrative background. 3 individuals representing the business community. 1 individual identified by the City of Arlington. 1 individual identified by Tarrant County College. 1 individual identified by UT Arlington. And 1 individual identified, I think I already read that one. 2 AISD students selected from the Student Leadership Advisory Board, and then 6 at-large representatives who are not AISD employees. From the many applications that we received, the following individuals have been nominated by the Community Engagement Committee to serve on the Capital Needs Steering Committee, which will begin meeting in January and will meet through June and report back to the board then. Starting with the parent representatives, from the Arlington High School cluster, we have Jeannie DeKine and Tracy Winkles, and I see Ms. DeKine is in attendance tonight. Thank you for being here. From Bowie High School, we have Patricia Carey and Amy Gavigan. From Lamar High School, we have Robert Thomas and Bill Pettit. From the Martin High School cluster, James Furr and April Pettit. From the Sam Houston High School cluster, Venetia Wilson. And another parent too, the committee is still considering applications for that position. From Juan Seguin High School, Greg Meeks and Albert Brown. From the City of Arlington, we have Jennifer Wickman. Tarrant County College, Mike Sonato. From UT Arlington, John Hall. The 6 at-large representatives are Michael Austin, Jolanda Hendricks, Gara Hill, Heather Lowe, Dr. Harmon Jacobs, and Lindsay Mitchell. The 2 students are Brad Flick from Sam Houston High School and Jackie Charles from Juan Seguin High School. Starting with the principals, we have for the high school level from Bowie High School, Principal Rennie Lasardo. From the junior high level at Shackelford Junior High, Jared Zahn. And at the elementary level from South Davis Elementary, Principal David Gutierrez. The 3 teachers selected in consultation with the teachers associations, we have Christina Blank from UEA, Marcy Walker from ATPE, and Sarah Spurrier from TSTA. The 3 non-administrative AISD employees who have been nominated are Susie McVeigh from Crouch Elementary, Christy Jones from Young Junior High, and Thomas Guerrero from the Maintenance Department. For the business community, we have Bill White with United RV, Matthew Malorn from the Army Corps of Engineers, and Dixon Holman representing the Realtor community and who serves on the Arlington Board of Realtors. The committee did not consider appointing alternates at this time, but will as the process rolls on, and it will be nominating Jeannie DeKine and Gara Hill to serve as co-chairs. And with that, I will formally move at this time that the board appoint the previously named individuals to the 2019 Capital Needs Steering Committee, and also that the board delegate to the Board Community Engagement Committee the authority to fill the remaining seat for the Sam Houston High School cluster and to appoint alternates at a later date.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Chopin. That does include the co-chairs as well, correct?
It does.
Okay, very good. So that is a motion. Ms. Mays?
Second.
Very good. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, please vote. All trustees present vote in the affirmative. Thank you very much, Mr. Hibbs, Mr. Chapa, and Mrs. Fowler for, I'm sure, what was a very difficult task and a blessing to have so many applicants from the community, but a difficult task nonetheless as a committee. And thank you to those that have chosen to serve, that have been approved just now from this board. To those that are here in the audience, congratulations, Ms. DeKine. Looking very forward to you and Mrs. Hill's leadership. And it is very, very important. These financial considerations, capital needs considerations, will be the driving the going concern of the work of the district for many years into the future. So it's going to be fast and furious. Thank you very much for agreeing to serve. Appreciate that very much, and appreciate your #1 cheerleader there, Ms. DeKine. Wonderful. All right, very good. Next, action item B is the consideration of the staffing ratios for the 1920 budget. All trustees received the information previously. There are no changes in the ratios from the previous year. I would be willing to accept a motion to approve. Ms. Mays?
Yes, I move that the board approve the staffing ratios presented in the 2019-2020 budget cycle and school year.
Very good. Is there a second? Ms. Fowler? Okay, Ms. Fowler seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion passes unanimous. Okay, thank you very much. Next on the agenda is items to be withdrawn from the consent agenda. Are there any items trustees to withdraw from the consent agenda? All right. Then seeing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. Ms. Powell, could you please share bids with us?
Yes, President Reich, board members, Dr. Cavazos, good evening. We have donations on the agenda this evening totaling $213,741. That brings our year-to-date total to $574,921. We also have several bids on the agenda. In each case, we are recommending the low bids and the bids that represent the best value to the district.
Very good. Thank you. Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda? Mr. Chapa?
I move to accept the consent agenda.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, a second by Ms. Fowler. All right, any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Consent passes. Thank you very much. Moving on the agenda is the discussion section, the strategic plan year 2 review. Dr. Cavazos.
Thank you, President Rice. And this evening we bring up a presentation on our strategic plan And this is really a culmination of year 2. We are in year 3, so this is a review of what has been accomplished to this point, as well as some highlights, noting that our strategic plan is very comprehensive. This is simply some of the bigger highlights of year 2. And so I want to thank ahead of time Dr. Wirtz and the team, the teachers and principals, and everyone in the district for implementing the strategic plan. It is truly transformative. There's a lot of pieces to it that are interdependent and help our students be successful. So at this time, Dr. Wirtz will present that year 2 review of our strategic plan. Dr. Wirtz.
Good evening, Dr. Reich, members of the board, Dr. Cavazos. It's my pleasure to be here tonight to share with you a review of year 2 of the strategic plan. I wanted to echo what Dr. Cavazos said first, which is to acknowledge our staff and team who have been working tirelessly to implement the plan. As you know, there are 41 strategies attached to our performance objectives, which is a very robust plan, but it is good. It is changing the face of the district in many positive ways for kids, and it really is the efforts of the staff behind me that are here that have done so much of the work, so I want to acknowledge them. As Dr. Cavazos said, I'm here to share with you a review of year 2. We are in the middle of year 3, and so we thought it's important to come and give you basically a capstone idea about where we landed in terms of last year and some of the next steps we have on some of the items. The nature of the strategic plan, the way that it's written, many of the activities or strategies are pretty robust, and so most of them or many of them cannot totally be accomplished in 1 year. Much of the time we start the initiation of the work the year that it comes online in terms of which year we're doing the work on, and then implementation starts. So today you'll hear me share with you some of the strategies we've begun, and then also give you an indication of what some of our next steps are. Not everything I talk about tonight has completely finished. We're still working. What I thought I would do tonight first is just start off by laying a foundation of how the strategic plan all got started. And I recognize that all of you were part of that process. For the sake of the audience, I thought I would provide some context to what I'm sharing tonight. What we have here are the belief statements, which you as a board adopted, that laid the foundation for the vision and mission of our district. And I want to highlight 2 points in this one slide. One specifically is around the mission, which articulates the fact that we believe that the way that we empower and engage our students is through relevant, innovative, and rigorous learning experiences. And one of our 3 core priorities that we have in the district is around the learner's experience, and you'll find that much of the things I'm going to talk about tonight are connected to that experience. We also have a singular goal, which I think is unique for many districts. Many districts don't have a singular goal, and I think it's unique for us that we do, which says that 100% of our students will graduate exceptionally prepared for college, career, and citizenship. This is a strong statement of equity that we believe that all students deserve to have an opportunity to experience learning and programming that will prepare them for the future that they desire. And so the strategic plan is designed in a way for us to help facilitate that for them. Our strategic plan is really based around 4 broad categories, or what we call targets or goals or objectives: academic achievement, college readiness, workforce readiness, leadership, citizenship, and responsibility. And it is our belief that if we accomplish this, the activities or the strategies that are founded within each of those 4 categories, that we would arrive at a student who we believe would be exceptionally prepared. When the strategic plan was designed, the teams we analyzed and identified many strategies that we felt were connected meaningfully to each of the performance objectives, and we deconstructed those down into smaller chunks so that we could begin the work. What we tried to do at first was to identify what we call high impact strategies, and those were the ones we initiated on the onset of the plan of the strategic plan. And when we say high impact, we're talking about specific strategies that have system-wide financial implications, have implications on a volume of human capital, and implicate a lot of our time. And so some of the strategies that I've talked about in year 1 were the way we started, initiated, and then we went from that place forward. One thing that I wanted to articulate in terms of timeline is the difference between sequencing and prioritizing. Sometimes when individuals will read over a strategic plan and they look at which order which strategies are coming, meaning which year they fall, there's an assumption that one strategy has a stronger priority over another one. That's actually not the case. As you know, when the strategic plan was designed, there was priorities around all 41 of the strategies. In fact, we believe that they were a priority or they wouldn't have landed in the strategic plan. The sequencing is simply done in a way so that the work can be done in a meaningful way, where the building blocks of strategies that would come down the line were put in place so that the success could be there. When the school board adopted the strategies and sequencing occurred, it happened over a 5-year timeline, and some of the frames that we used to help decide those things were no more than 25% of the plan was going to be implemented in any 1 year. That we would try to balance high impact strategies over the course of 4 years so that there was no 1 year that was so overly burdensome that the staff wouldn't be able to actually do it. Also to try to make sure that the foundational activities were happening on the onset, and then to ensure that we have some quick wins in the year 1. So what are some things to kind of get us going in terms of meeting our stakeholders' needs? So tonight I'm going to talk to you about year 2, which consists of 1 strategy in the performance objective of workforce readiness, 9 strategies under academic achievement, and 3 strategies under leadership, citizenship, and responsibility. I won't read this slide as you have it in front of you, but this is a bullet of all the specific strategies that fall under year 2. So tonight what my goal is to do is to share with you where we are in progress around the activities that were connected into each of these bullets. These are the strategies that were founded under academic achievement, and then we have the 1 strategy connected to workforce readiness, and then 3 under leadership, citizenship, and responsibility. So the strategic plan, what we've done over the last several years is work really hard to try to align the work in the strategic plan to the work we do in the district improvement plans to the work that we find in the campus improvement plans so that they're connected to each other. And it's really all under this concept of continuous improvement. And continuous improvement cycle is exactly that. It's a cycle. It's designed for us to identify and what we believe are the root causes for why certain things are or not happening, model and plan to make improvements, implement those actions, and then measure them to see whether they're making the gains that we want, and then make adjustments. The strategic plan is really no different than that. We look at our progress on a quarterly basis in terms of strategic planning to get a sense of how we're doing, whether it's making a difference or not, what strategies are working and not working. When we think about the activities that we're doing, we think of 3 core things. We think of systems improvement. How can we improve the systems across the district so that they yield the results that we're looking for? How do the things that we implement go about building the capacity of the members of our team? And then finally, are the things that we're putting in place sustainable over a long period of time so that we're not putting a lot of effort into things that don't necessarily produce results for kids or that are going to piddle away and go away over time? And the way that we do this is we analyze our data, we look at our quantitative and our qualitative research to identify the impact that it's having, and then in the middle of this process of continuous improvement, we try to make adjustments along the way. So the first strategy that I want to share with you tonight is this idea of equating and scaling data. So Dr. Barlow in the Research and Accountability Department has worked really hard to try to scale and equate our tests so that they have the ability to predict how kids will or will not do on state accountability, so that teachers have the ability to make adjustments. This is very analogous, I can't say that word, to the TEA process, which is how TEA does it, which is try to how do you say it? I said it wrong. Analogous. There you go. Now I feel my ears burning.
I think this is a first where Stephen works, Dr. Works.
There you go.
Let it be noted.
I'm never gonna live this down. I'm a lifelong learner. Thank you. Thank you. I won't even try to say it again, but it is very similar to TEA's process, which where they actually scale their results. So when students take an exam for STAR, for example, what they do not do is just get a raw score. They're scaled, and they're scaled so that the performance of the students is able to be articulated in a way that compares them across the state. And so our local assessments are also scaled and equated in a similar way so that we take our raw scores and we convert them into a scale score. And it allows us to see how students are doing across the system and how the scores are being distributed. One thing that I will say that's unique about our system due to Dr. Barlow and his team's work is it does allow us to have some predictive value. So when we take a curriculum assessment in the district, we run that assessment as if it was the STAR exam, and we put it through the same system that the state does, and we punch out how the scores are and results so that principals have the ability to look at their school, to look at how to support teachers, to identify very specific students that need interventions so that they're set up for the most success as possible. Right now, our next steps are to move to a process that's one that's more automated and one that's less manual. And so Dr. Barlow has started that process already, has already started the initial training with principals, to leverage a system that allows principals to do this disaggregation in a way that's a little more automated. In terms of test design, we've worked to make sure that we've embedded formative and summative assessments into the curriculum documents. So one of the things that takes some effort for teachers is to plan their instruction in a way that's aligned to the way that students will be tested. And I want to be very careful when I say that, in that we're not a fan of we're just teaching to the test. That's not what I'm saying. What we're articulating is that there's alignment between what the written curriculum says and the taught curriculum and the tested curriculum. There's alignment there, so that when kids are being presented with questions on a STAR exam, for example, they know how to respond to them because the way they were taught them the skills necessary to analyze things that way. And so to do that, we have provided some supports to teachers by embedding formative and summative assessments that are aligned to state standards in the curriculum documents to alleviate the teacher's need to generate all of those on their own, to spend all of that time, because you have to know the endpoint before you can plan your lessons and do backwards design. And so to support teachers in the process, we articulated the backwards part for them to help them design that way towards them so they could use their time to actually plan their lessons and implement them. Some various research techniques for determining quality test items that Dr. Barlow's department have implemented include the Cronbach Alpha, which really measures internal consistency of scoring, and then the D index, which helps us identify the quality of the questions and which ones need to stay in the system and which ones we should throw out. And then finally, in terms of next steps, build capacity through professional learning and collaborate with our curriculum office to continue to develop local assessments that will really help our teachers make wise and meaningful instructional decisions in the classroom. The next strategy is around our curriculum writing and revision. And if you've listened to me for the last 5 years, you know we have rewritten our curriculum. They've done an outstanding job. The documents are very well written with lots of resources inside them. And so this year, we updated our K through 2 curriculum. We've included the instructional focus documents in that curriculum, a year at a glance, a scope and a sequence, and then we've collaboratively updated the K through 2 standards-based report card and rubrics. What happened is TEA has rolled out new standards for English language arts, Spanish language arts, and science. And because new standards were rolled out, we had to redo report cards and redo rubrics and things like that. So these new report cards were aligned to the new curriculum and state standards, and we've garnered a lot of input to design these report cards, including from parents, from teachers. The committee that made up the group that helped us with this included 40 teachers, academic deans and principals, approximately 20 different district staff that represented special education, world languages, curriculum and instruction, parent and community engagement, and we had over 25 parents and community members also help us in this process. And the goal was to try to increase the effectiveness of parent communication of specific grade level curriculums to expectations. And so some of the things that we've done along the way is try to provide resources to make that possible, which I'll share with you in just a second. So our next steps is to continue to design and roll out the K through 2 curriculum, including a communication plan with spring previews, district-wide professional learning, and continue writing new ELA curriculum for 3rd through 8 content, because those standards have also changed. This is just a slide that gives you a visual of some of the things that we've done around the report cards. There we have a website that has information around the report cards. There was a video provided so people could watch a video, including teachers, to understand how the report cards were. We had advertisements to make sure parents knew way back since last school year, even yard signs. This is an example of a yard sign you may have seen in schools. We created a parent-teacher guidebook, which I think is really important. This guidebook allows parents to understand specifically how to read the report card, the different components of the report card, help them understand what the difference is between the standards, how they're graded or assessed. Some of the phrasing that's in the report card that's connected to the standard, we have a glossary in the back that actually tells them how to understand the words. So if we're saying scope and sequence, what does that actually mean? And try to put those in on the parent guide in layman's terms so that a parent could read and understand what it is that they were looking at. And so we tried to help parents really use the report card as a way of communicating their child's level of mastery. The one other thing I would like to say about this is it is a standards-based report card, which is unique and different. It's not based on a sum of averages where you get a numeric grade at the end. This is based on mastery, and students are scored against a rubric based upon their mastery of the actual standard itself. These are curriculum cadres. I just wanted to show you a picture of a group of teachers that come up that work with us over the course of the school year to refine and give feedback and to rewrite the different parts of our curriculum over time. They give their expertise, and they're a real valued member of the team. We couldn't do the work that we do without the expertise of this group of teachers that help us. The other thing I wanted to share with you today was the strategy specifically around our instructional model. So why active learning? One of the things that we've realized is that our students, when they leave us, have to have more than content knowledge in order to be successful in the world outside of school. And if you were to visit with corporations or even institutions of higher education outside of school districts, they would tell you very quickly the kinds of skills that kids need are often soft skills. In fact, I just got off a phone call yesterday with a company that's focused on STEM education, specifically around minority and students and female students yesterday. And one of the things they talked about was how to build soft skills specifically for students so they can leverage their content in a way that's meaningful when they leave school. We've done that in terms of Arlington. We have identified what we believe are the important traits for our kids to know and be able to do when they leave us, and those include being responsible citizens, being self-directed, being collaborative, meaning they are able to collaborate with people who think and act differently than they do, to think critically, problem solve around real problems that the world is actually experiencing, and to communicate effectively. And the way that we accomplish this is through our implementation of our instructional model. It is called the active learning cycle, and year two, we just did year two implementation. This includes 15 schools and about 265 classrooms. We'll be adding, I think, 11 more sites next year, and this is a 5-year slow process where schools are coming online slowly over the next 5 years, and then within the schools over the next several years, they're slowly building capacity with their teachers there. They're not every teacher in the whole school is doing it all at once. There is a gradual release of professional development ownership from an organization that we're working with, which is Engaged to Learn. We're slowly absorbing most of it. So this upcoming school year in summer, we will be doing the summer training. We are already owning the Coaches Academy. Right now, our primary relationship with Engaged to Learn is to help support teachers through one-on-one coaching in their classroom job-embedded professional learning with those teachers over the course of their first year of implementation, so they have a think partner as they're working through the process of learning. The goal around this, which I think is really important that I want to emphasize, is our target is for teachers to learn the model in a risk-free environment. Meaning, just like kids have to learn new things, we want teachers to have the flexibility to be able to learn how to do this in a way that feels safe. And so the idea is to have the coach help them as they set goals along the way. We have a 2-day initial training that takes place in the summer, and then the professional learning department facilitates classroom visits. So this year, our teachers who are participating in this model will have an opportunity to go see other teachers that are doing it, just to validate and to affirm their own work. We're also facilitating half-day design sessions for teachers. So rather than teachers having to plan in isolation, we want to make sure that they have support while they're learning how to do that process. So we actually sit side by side with them through half-day, and we allow teachers, like for example, we might allow a 5th grade math teacher to sit with other 5th grade math teachers across the district who are doing it, and together they'll sit a half-day together with curriculum instruction side by side to plan and design what that could look like. We also, the Office of School Leadership hosts PLCs for our principals who are implementing or overseeing the implementation of the active learning cycle. We have executive coaching for the principals. We have an intranet site that we've created that allows teachers to have support so they can go online and find resources there, as well as each studio. And then the other thing that we're doing is we're micro-badging best practices. And I wanted to highlight that for you so you could see what I was referring to. So this is an example. If you were to go over to Crouch Elementary, outside their doors, you would see teachers' names and then these micro-badges. And the way a micro-badge is earned is a teacher sets a goal around a very specific best practice. There are 12 best practices. And we ask them each quarter to select one best practice they want to work on that's connected to their actual practice. And then they set goals, and then their coach will sit with them over the course of the year to help them to implement their best practice and identify evidence that they're going to use. And the way that we go through that process is something that we call EGROW, which means they set a goal, they identify what their current reality is, they identify what are their opportunities that they can leverage to improve. what will they do, and then what evidence are they going to use to identify for themselves whether they grew or not. Once they reach mastery of that best practice, meaning they're implementing it with fidelity according to a rubric, they earn a badge. And so this is our way of celebrating teachers for teaching well. I think a lot of times we celebrate awards. This is our effort to really give kudos to teachers who are taking the time to really master best practice that we know has a statistical significance when it comes to impacting student achievement in the classroom. These are just some other pictures that I wanted to share with you about how active learning cycle is going. This is just a bulletin board that shows the cycle and how kids are owning their own learning. These are pictures of students in the classroom working together. And one of the things I really like about the active learning cycle is it focuses on things like growth mindset. And if you were to interview students, they are owning their learning. They have set goals around their learning. They're monitoring where they are. One example of a school that we recently went to, we saw a student who had done an assessment, and she was looking at the answers and trying to gauge how she did. And then she said, well, I have a decision to make. And we asked her, well, what's your decision? And she said, well, I have to decide. I need to go back and learn the content again. I'm ready to take the assessment now, or I want to try another activity before. And the teacher was just mentoring this child along the way. And this was a third grader. So they really believe and understand this concept of growth mindset, which is challenge doesn't necessarily mean I have to stop. It's something I just have to persist through. And it was really kind of exciting to see. We also have, this is some pictures of the design days that I was referencing in terms of teachers collaborating with other teachers to design and learning experiences for their students. So our next steps are we're going to continue with our responsible rollout. We are defining a little bit more precisely what our onboarding and implementation expectations will be, just so that we can support our teachers with greater proficiency. We also want to build our coaching capacity within our system to support the implementation of the best practice. So we've implemented a coaching academy to work with our coaches that are at the schools. We're also celebrating and building more capacity around the badging of the best practices, and then we'll continue with pre-training and for campus readiness. So campuses that are onboarding next year, we're actually starting the training of the principals and the coaches and the orientation starting now, so that they are ready to go. They're not hearing about it for the first time when they go to training in June. One of our other strategies around a professional learning plan, a leadership professional learning plan, we have a plaque that we call here, and it's not the plaque in your teeth. It's the Professional Learning Advisory Committee. And basically what it is it's designed to help give us real meaningful feedback about what kind of professional learning is needed in the system from our teachers. We don't want to just be looking only at data. We want to have qualitative information from our teachers to know, like, what is it that you need to learn? So the committee helps us develop what our summer impact training looks like. It's collaboratively designed, and then we're exploring also what Alita referenced today in her welcome when she was appointed, around competency-based learning that has micro-credentialing attached to it. So we are starting to really establish standards for what adult learning should look like in the district, so that our teachers, just like we want for our students to have a meaningful learning experience, our teachers have the same thing, and it feels like it's really connected to their work, and then they can implement it in their classrooms. So some of our next steps are to develop our year-long professional learning calendar, and then partner with the professional development staff to establish systems and also include quality measures to identify whether the professional learning we're offering is actually impacting student achievement. This is a hard thing to do, to measure the impact of the professional learning, but we are setting out to try to do that so that we can figure out how to support our teachers in the most meaningful way. The next strategy specifically is around student equity of access, and when this gets back to our goal of 100% of our students being ready for whatever it is that they want to pursue outside of school. And I think that really does speak to this idea around equity. And so what we want to do is we want to build a comprehensive plan that provides the full continuum of services for students at the schools that are in their neighborhoods. That right now we want to make sure that regardless of what comes in your backpack when you come to school, whatever challenges or successes you come to school with, we want to be able to serve you, meet your needs at the school that's in your neighborhood. And so some of the professional learning that we've been working on to try to do that is to focus around 6 major areas: academic achievement, of course, but then also the implementation of the ART and IEP process, how to build a meaningful environment in the classroom so students feel socially and emotionally safe, functional performance, inclusive practices. So for students who have traditionally been pulled out of the general ed environment, how do we support them in the general ed environment among their peer groups? and then also how do we engage parents in meaningful ways. We've been working on developing a repository to house some of the professional learning offerings, and we will continue to do that. Some of our next steps is to grow that repository. Also, we want to promote inclusivity and culture of equity through the spotlighting of campuses, the highlighting of best practices, start to just try to impact the culture and that mindset across the system. Another goal that we've been working on is around the expansion of the World Languages program. The team has been working on visionary documents that really try to outline what the goal is around the expansion of world languages K-6 in the system. The dual language immersion program, we're in the 3rd grade cohort right now at the Corey and Jones Academy, and we've implemented FLES at several schools. In Spanish, it's Piercy and Farrell, and we have French at Crouch, Remenzi, Pope, and Hale. Those choices around which languages were actually articulated by looking at secondary and working backwards so that kids had a pathway. The unique thing that I think is to note about our FLES program that's different is you take it in 5th and 6th grade. In 5th grade, you take, for the full year, you cover semester 1 of Spanish 1, and in 6th grade, you cover semester 2 of Spanish 1. So by the time you go to junior high, you've already earned 1 credit of high school credit, but you did it in your elementary ranks. Right now, we're in the process of writing curriculum for our K through 2 dual language immersion Spanish alongside with curriculum instruction and implementing FLES. This is our first year doing that. We do intend to expand our FLES program once we're evaluating it some more and include that as part of our new programming in terms of next steps. So as you know, the Wimbish World Academy is scheduled to open next year, which will include a track in French and also a track in English and a track in French and a track in Spanish. And then we will also be adding FLES, Spanish and French in those two, in that school as well. And that's just the beginning. Once we get moving over the next couple of years, we intend to add additional language tracks at that school. We also are looking at the expansion of dual language into the secondary ranks. So we've already started and we've announced the planning of where the fine arts dual language students will matriculate to in terms of their junior high years, and then where would they go after high school, into high school is something that we're having to decide here in the near future. We've also had some discussions about the expansion of dual language programming for students who are in bilingual programs across the district but are sitting in general ed or general traditional type elementary schools, and how we can consider that as a possibility for our one of our bilingual model considerations. We also know and understand that students who participate in pre-K do better. And so we want to offer more pre-K offerings to our students in the community. And so we've been working with the communications department to really try to recruit more students into our pre-K system, and we partnered with partners in the community to help us. Commit is a really strong partnership that has worked a lot in Dallas County and has started their work here in Tarrant County. And we've been working with them to align a marketing campaign so that when they're publishing and marketing for pre-K, all the school districts at the same moment, our parents are hearing it at the same time. We've expanded our full day pre-K to another site, so at Hill. So we have Duff, Hill, McNutt, Moore, and Peach. And where there is need and interest, we go ahead and expand those. Those full day pre-Ks are paid. We hope one day we could offer full day pre-K. Right now, the state, the way it's structured, we have to do it right now in a paid situation. But our next steps is to consider how we can think about full day pre-K for all of our students. That's something we want to consider. This is recently, we had a partnership with the Education Foundation who funded a good source of money to help us really provide our teachers in pre-K with meaningful resources to help support their children, their learning. And we've also attached some of that to some of our bond funds. So the collection of both those things allowed our students at pre-K to have one-to-one technology and a wealth of resources, and even multiple academies for teachers to receive professional learning, which they've been very excited about. So we went over to the Cook-In Center and we went to go see what impact it's having in the classrooms. And these are pictures of that visit of students who are actively engaged in learning. We saw things like maker stations in maker spaces where kids were actually trying to solve real problems by manipulating materials. We saw teachers teaching by leveraging music and kids working in collaborative groups. So it was a really great day, and that was just one example of awesome teaching that's happening pre-K all across our system. The next strategy is really around the alignment of resources. And so Cindy and her department in finance have prepared a 4-year budget forecast and done some research pertaining to how to prepare for a TRE. Also there, as you know, there was a board work session on the long range financial planning that was held back on September 5th. And so right now the work is focused on identifying potential budget efficiencies, really understanding what the requirements are around a TRE, and then develop the 1920 operating budget, which we are diving into that season as we speak. Some other things that we've been working on are construction contracts that are connected to 7 bid packages that are part of phase 4 in the current bond. And so Cindy and her team are managing construction projects to make sure that we are delivering according to the schedule that was originally planned. Some more work that's being done in terms of alignment of resources is Cindy's department has been working on with a corporation or a group called Cooperative Strategies. It was formerly DeJohn Richter, which I know you're very familiar with, to develop a capacity and utilization study to really understand how we're using the facilities that we have. So that was conducted, and the results of the study have helped inform the capital needs for the 5-year period beyond the 2014 bond that we most recently had. And so the next steps is the Capital Needs Steering Committee will be selected by the board to review the assessment and then provide recommendations to each of you about how to prioritize facility and capital needs when you get ready to plan for the next bond that will go through 2025. In terms of student streamless entry into workforce, we have embedded faculty at CTC, so now students can take courses at the Career Tech Center, and they'll be taking it from staff who are able to award dual credit. Also, we have some new programs that we've added, accounting. Well, you can see the list that's there. We do have some of those programs that are there that we have them offered. We're still working on generating interest in all of the areas so we can make sure we align them to what our kids are wanting to do. Some of our next steps are to enhance student success certificate of completion. So make sure that our students are crossing the finish line when they finish their courses and they take their CERT exams, that they're actually passing and being able to leverage those to obtain employment. And then also develop pathways that are connected to our new Arlington College and Career High School. Right now, those pathways will be focused around business, where kids will be able to earn an Associates of Science degree. And then we also have hospitality and then health sciences, where students will be able to earn an Associate of Arts, but also have a chance to earn level 1 workforce certs in those areas while also earning their 2-year degree. Some of the other work that we've been working on is around cultural awareness, and I think some of the biggest focus around this is around the social emotional learning. We introduced Luis Valespino this evening, which is the new Senior Director of Social Emotional Learning, and the new department was actually generated in an effort to construct a framework that linked all the different parts together so that when we were educating a child, we were considering the whole child. And so some of the things that we've done is implement professional learning for staff, and that professional learning has been focused around basic behaviors for classroom management, how to build culture and relationships in the classroom, how do you build structure so that meaningful relationships can occur, and then also how do you provide positive reinforcements and corrections when needed for students. And then finally, the team is just initiating the work to build what I'm calling a framework. And I gave you an example of one from Castle, which is very well known for their framework around social emotional learning. That's the picture that you see up there. But this articulates in some way what we're trying to accomplish, which is how do you bring all the parts together so that when we think of our counseling department, when we think of our academics, when we think of PBIS, how all those things are married to each other, how do we use similar language, and how do we make sure that the classroom teacher leverages the same terminology and supports that a counselor would, so we're considering the whole child in all of their environments. Our next step is to support staff by continuing to provide professional learning, specifically around their implementation of cultural awareness and PBIS. We are implementing a system to really analyze our student discipline data trends to make sure that we're providing support to campuses who we recognize need additional help. And then finally, design this framework that I was describing. That's the work of the department now. It was just initiated. So one of the last things I wanted to share with you that we've been working on is really around leadership. And we spent a lot of time talking about our partnership with Holdsworth. So I'll just highlight some of the things that we've been doing over the last year, because Holdsworth has really been a strong, we've had a strong relationship with Holdsworth in terms of our development around leadership competencies in the strategic plan. So I wanted to give you a sense of some of the things that we have participated with in this 1 year when it comes to Holdsworth. As a district leadership program, we visited 10 cities, we visited 3 countries, and we've been on 2 continents to look at research. We've done 16 site visits to schools and stores. We've interacted and learned from 52 leadership experts in education and business. We've engaged in over 283 learning hours, and they have been 283 learning hours. We've read over 2,300 pages of material, research articles, books. We've watched hundreds of minutes of videos to learn, and we have engaged in over 644 presentations. So when Holdsworth says robust learning and investment, they are very, very serious. And I will say, and I think I can speak for our entire team, that and I've said this before, I've been really blessed in my life to have been able to go to many places to learn top-notch things from people in the field of education. I've been to Harvard Institute twice, but I've never had an experience like Holdsworth. They are top-notch, and we have learned so much. And I think the thing that's unique about Holdsworth is because they partner side by side with you, it's not just about theoretical learning. They help you design the systems to do the things that you learn about in all of these things. So they have supported us with over 7,200 hours of support just in the 2 people that they offer with us. And it's been really meaningful. I think I can speak for all of us, say that we've learned a tremendous amount and that we see talent management in a way that's very unique in school systems. And I can say that my own paradigm of thinking has been completely changed. So this is the system that that we call the house. And the first thing I want to focus on in terms of leadership development is around culture. And you've often heard the phrase, like, if you culture eats strategy for breakfast, you can either intentionally create culture or it will create itself, but it's going to exist one way or the other. And so as a system, we have a call to action, which is to create and influence a high-performing culture that supports in the establishment and the creation of systems that guarantee active learning. That's what we want our students to engage in. So I think if you'll notice the house, the very top of it is very pointed in that it's about kids. And so we work really, really hard as a team to make sure that when we're talking about this house, that the first place we always start is with our students, and then we work our way down. And so when we built our culture, we did that with that mindset. So you're very familiar. These are our 6 cultural tenets that were designed. And those tenets were designed to generate the very specific behaviors that we believe would have allow us to have active learning in the classroom. And I think this is really exciting. If you go around schools, you'll see evidence of this. I was at Dunn just yesterday. I think it was yesterday. My days are going by quickly. Was it yesterday, Christy? Yes, yesterday. And there was things put on the walls, like banners on teachers' doors, where they were writing each other notes and articulating examples or kudos of when they saw them own their work or when they saw them put students first. And so we're seeing more and more of this across the system in terms of just people rallying and helping each other to sharpen their saw, so to speak, around these specific behaviors. In Arlington, we like to say to our team that it's a place where leadership gets real, and what we've articulated very specifically are these 3 bullets to our staff, that we are endeavoring to create a culture where the team members feel cared for, connected, and committed to one another and to our students. We are intentionally taking steps to ensure that the staff is nurtured and developed in their professional careers. We want them to feel like there's a place to grow here in Arlington, and that we surround them with leaders who believe in their abilities and intentionally work to grow and develop their talents. That's what we want to do. So with that, to do that, we had to identify what we are calling a leadership definition. And as you know, we had a task force that we put together that helped us do this over the course of, it took us about it was almost a full year to really design the framework. And this is the framework as you've seen. It consists of our cultural tenets, which are on the perimeter of the triangle, and then 3 major categories, which include passion for the work, commitment to personal growth, and dedication to the team. What I'm not showing up here in detail, which you should know about, is each of those indicators that are underneath the 3 categories are also attached to rubrics and other things to help support people, which we will be rolling out at a future date. And they're not necessarily job specific, they're attached to what your role actually is. So if you're a leader of self, meaning you don't have direct reports of people that you're leading, but you're responsible for yourself, there are behaviors for each of these indicators that are connected to you. If you lead others, if you lead leaders, if you lead parts of the organization, each of those categories have behaviors. We're in the process of designing a system to identify talent and support people in their growth, create opportunities for professional learning, create pathways so when people decide what it is that they want to do, that there's a way to do it and they know exactly how that will happen. And that's coming slowly over time. So I just want to share with you some pictures of some of the work. This definition was launched last summer, and our goal this year is pretty simple. It's to make sure that everyone in the system knows we have a leadership definition, they know why we have the definition, and they can speak to what the 3 categories are and what it means to them. That's really our goal, is to orient people to it. We're not evaluating anybody against the definition right now. It's just about understanding it. We rolled this out, as I said, with campus teams last July and August, and these are just some pictures of it. In this rollout, Dr. Cavazos shared his story, his personal story about why he is here and why he does what he does. And then we talked about what our goals are around learners and what we believe what role leadership will play. We gave them opportunities to dialogue in their teams, to set goals with themselves, and to think about what their strengths are, and it was really powerful. Our next steps when it comes to this is we have another opportunity to relaunch with people again in February so that we can help even teachers start to see more of this in their own practice, because we believe that if you touch a student, you're a leader. So this is just a slide that tells you all the things that we're working on connected to this. There's the clear leadership definition. We're working on data systems that will help us identify where our high talent is in the system that we can help support for people who want to grow and develop. Structured and connected roles, so specifically having clearly articulated pathways for people, having an aligned evaluation system that's connected to our leadership definition, having a website that informs people all about what we believe about leadership, and equipping our leaders with meaningful opportunities and tools to grow and develop the people that they're supervising. We'll also be building portfolios of experiences. So if I'm an AP and I want to be a principal, what are the specific behaviors that we believe an equality principal has? And then how do we create a portfolio of experiences so that when you're in the assistant principalship, you're developing those so you can be a meaningful principal? Or if you're a teacher and you want to be an assistant principal, what does that look like for you? And then finally, having a centralized process for identifying really specifically where our talent lies so that we're not just waiting for someone to say, hey, I would like to be a principal, that we have a way of identifying who we believe has potential to be a principal so we can grow and develop them. And that's just one example of a leader that I'm using. The last thing I want to share with you tonight is around customer service. You know, we've been working around developing we have a framework of customer service that we've developed, and we've been working on implementing it and socializing it in Arlington. We have 1,400 employees so far that have been recognized for excellent customer service, and we have worked with our marketing department to help elevate the visibility of this framework, specifically this customer service framework. Campuses and departments have each received 2 posters that we've asked them to display in common areas. There's monthly training. We have 10 campuses actually participated in a pilot since last February, and we've been able to collect strengths and challenges on how you deliver customer service that's in an excellent and high quality way, and what do you do about that. And then 89% of our respondents have highlighted responsiveness as the tenet that they experienced during their interaction with a campus or a department. So that's positive, that we believe people feel like we're being responsive, and that's something to celebrate. Our next steps are we have 10 additional campuses that will join in January. We will continue to do monthly recognitions through our newsletter. So if you see our AISD newsletter, you will have noticed that we highlight different people just to reinforce some of their behaviors. And then finally, we want to produce some refresher courses through Canvas so that people who want to learn more about it, or for people who are onboarding that's new, that they understand really closely about what we believe about customer service and what that looks like. So that's what we've been working on over the last year.
That's it?
That's it. That's it until you design the next strategic plan.
Incredible. Incredible. And just think, that's the high-level highlight. The amount of work that is going on. Oh my gosh. So many layers. Thank you for the presentation.
Sure.
We do have some lights here, so let's get right to those questions. First up, Ms. Walton.
Thank you, Dr. Reich. I love the last statement, and I agree wholeheartedly. Yes, there is a lot here to celebrate, and I'm really glad we're getting into the part of the strategic plan where we're starting to really focus on culture and leadership. We have been for a while, but it's fun to see it develop and to grow. I'm going to go backwards through your, that's probably strange, but anyway, the leadership definition that's being developed, I think it was grow leaders or leadership, or there was something about grow in there.
Commitment to personal growth?
Okay, whatever. In that triangle of leadership development, it was very small. Yeah, there it is. Dedication to the team, personal growth, okay, passion for the work. In there, is there something about helping members feel valued and cared for and nurtured? I saw that word in other places.
There's one it's called relationship builder. I believe it's in dedication to the team.
Okay.
It's on the second indicator.
Okay.
And there's a whole rubric attached to that, which is one of the key qualities that we believe an effective leader has to have. And so it's in the definition. It's articulated with clarity about what it actually means. And then what we'll be doing is building systems and trainings and supports to help people recognize, like, okay, how do I do that? For some people, it's a strength, and for other people, it's not, you know.
Right. Yeah. I hear from the ones where it's ain't. The talent system framework at Duff, the Duff visit, that was exciting. I think I need to get back to, I love the part about learning in a safe environment for not only our kids, but for our leadership, our teachers. Everybody needs to feel safe, and or else they'll never take a risk if they don't. Badges, I've seen those somewhere. I can't remember where I was in what building, but I've seen some of those. They're like outside the door or something.
You would have seen it at the schools that are implementing. So you probably will have seen them you possibly saw them at Hale. The ones, the examples I gave you were at Crouch. We actually have a lot of badges that have been earned. Every time a teacher earns a badge, it's published on a list where a kudos kind of goes out to them from even their work with Engage. So, yeah,
that's really cool.
The idea is to to have the badge articulate proficiency around implementing a best practice, and then two, to celebrate the effort in trying to grow in that area.
Yeah, it's not easy. Yeah. You know, old dog, new tricks, kind of a roadblock sometimes. Active learning, the slide about the soft skills. I don't think we can emphasize that enough. Here's the part I don't understand. I need some help understanding, because I've had some inquiries from members of our community, and that has to do with the new kindergarten report card. I guess it's kindergarten through second grade. Mainly, I've heard from kindergarten parents, and I don't know how to answer their questions. I'm glad to hear there's a video. Is that video on the AISD website?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's one place I can direct them. And how do parents acquire a guide?
It's on there's a PDF you can get on the website. I can send you a link.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you. And I think I know the answer to that. Why, I guess it's so long because we are putting all of the TEKs, for lack of a better word, or what would be the proper term there?
The standards?
Standards, okay. But they are the TEKs, right?
They are.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I've heard from parents that they're kind of intimidated to ask a teacher about what are some of these words. You said there was a glossary somewhere?
Yeah, so in the back of the parent guide, so the parent guide, what it does is it takes the report card and it breaks it down. And so what it will do is it will talk specifically around each of the segments that are part of the report card. So it will talk about attendance, why is it there? It will talk about mastery levels. So for example, we measure whether students master the standard, approach mastery, or they're just in the beginning. And so we talk about what those mastery levels are and what they mean. And then we talk about even like the ELPs. And then on the actual meat, which is what you're referring to, we break it down on the guide and we say, okay, this is the content area, this is the content strand, and this is the knowledge and skill statement that's actually part of the standard. And so we break that down. If there's a word that you would say is more like, I would say something educational, that's part of the standard.
The two that came to me right, phonemic awareness, you know, I understand that, but I've been in education for 40 years. Recursive.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
words
So
that were
in the back of
beyond the kindergarten parents, you know,
right.
unless they've got a...
In the back of the guide, like phonemic awareness is listed there. So what it is we define what that is for a parent. So there are a list of several terms that are in the report card that if a parent's like, I don't know, really knows that, they can go to the glossary in the back and it will actually tell them what that actually means. What we try to do is make sure the report card is aligned to the standard because it is a way for teachers to measure and articulate what kids can or can't do. We don't want to change up all the wording on the report card in such a way so that it compromises what the standard actually says that kids need to be able to do. We want parents to know, like, your child is being asked to do and master these things. What we want to do is educate the parents about what it means if they don't understand. So
well, and that's so important because if the parent doesn't understand, then their question is, I want to help my child.
Right.
You know, how do I do that?
Right.
How do I help them with this?
Right.
You know, and they're looking at this 6 pages of, you know, stuff that came from someplace, you know.
Yeah. So there is a glossary in the back, phonemic awareness, for phonological awareness, all that's in there. What I can do is also just have the team scan through it one more time to say, are there any terms that feel outside of what we would normally think a parent would know who doesn't live in our world, and add it to the glossary. But there is a glossary in the back, yeah.
Well, I'm glad to know all that. I'll be able to refer them to these locations.
Yeah, when I send you the link, the PDF, you'll see it. It's the last pages of the guide.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that was everything. Thank you very much for that help. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Any other questions from trustees? Well, I would like to say thank you. There's so many different levels. So the first is, over your course of time here, the approach for testing and information. This goes to Dr. Barlow and your team as well. The intelligent design has just improved and been enhanced year in, year out over the past several years. And I know it's a fluid process, and it continues, and I thank you for that. I think it's so powerful to be able to do that for that predictive modeling that you're searching for our students to achieve, for our teachers to be armed with that information so that they can better help that student body. So I just want to say thank you for that. That's nobody likes testing anywhere. At the state level, I don't think they have this type of an approach whatsoever, and I really appreciate what you're employing to make sense of it all, so that we are not spinning our wheels in the classrooms for our children, for them to achieve. I don't really have any questions. I'm just excited about the progress. The one question that I have is, I was just a curiosity question on on the FLES program. That seems very, very powerful, and for my knowledge base, it seems unique as far as the elementary students being able to achieve a high school credit. To use your favorite word of the evening, are there other districts, other programs that are analogous to that?
Analogous. I'm never going to forget that word. My staff's going to hear it all the time now. No, I don't know specifically whether other districts are doing it. I'm sure there are. I'd have to ask the department. We were interested in thinking about how to make it different for our students, and so we looked to see, is this something that's possible? Can you do it? It's not common. I will say that it's not common, but I would have to figure out. I'd have to talk with them specifically, identify like which other systems actually do it. I don't know that we're the only ones. It's not. It's pretty rare. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I would think so. Everything that you're doing, everything that the district is doing as a whole, there's so many opportunities once these are proven to share with the world, and lots of publication material here to let other communities, other districts know what is happening, what is working here. So I do appreciate that. Definitely looking forward to the continued success and implementation. Are there anything that and this is a big net, anything that you can define as your greatest challenges or obstruction to implement anything that we've gone over this evening?
Time.
Time.
That's probably it. You know, nothing that we're working on is not meaningful. It's like we were saying at the beginning, like it's all a priority, and it needs to be. Like I really believe this is impacting our kids in a really meaningful way. When I think about the programs that we're implementing and the things that kids are able to experience today that they weren't able to do even 5 years ago, I mean, it's amazing. I really think that it is. I have my own child in the program. I've seen her light up in ways I've never seen before. So I think all the things we're doing is really good. I just wish that there was more than 24 hours in a day. That's really our problem. It's how do we get it out fast enough and make sure that we're not compromising quality. And that's the fine balance that we try to strike, which is make sure that it's meaningful, make sure the program is well designed, and that kids are able to engage in it, but do it in a way that we can sustain, and also make sure that the quality is not compromised, because I think putting out a program that doesn't actually have quality attached to it is not worth their time, and I think they deserve that. So that's probably what I would say is the biggest challenge.
I think that's a wonderful response. Of course, we all wish for more time, but to seriously go through the things that you're doing to make sure that time is not wasted, because it is so precious. I think that's what you're defining, and that's wonderful. Thank you very much for the presentation, all the information, and looking forward to presentations that would be analogous to this in the future.
Analogous, yes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next, we come to the open forum for non-agenda items this evening. We did have a card, but it was withdrawn. So we will move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Cavazos.
Thank you, President Rice, and we'll share some information about our district. First, our district had many community partners with us at the Big 12 Conference and College Football Playoff Foundation's Extra Yard for Teachers to redo the Berry Elementary library. And so the makeover was a grant of $70,000 to transform the carpet, the paint, the furniture, the Longhorns furniture, and all this kind of stuff in there. The entire project was a surprise for Berry Elementary and its students. Oh, and the other Big 12 teams who were there too. So the school also had an opportunity to be honored on the field at the game at AT&T Stadium, and also our ROTC program presented the colors at that game, and we just want to thank them for their support of our school district. Our Parent and Community Engagement Department hosted a luncheon for our retired educators last month, and we had a great turnout of over 100 former employees. They were able to get updates about what's happening in our district, They're a tremendous asset for our community, and we appreciate their continued involvement with us and with our community and with our students, so thank you to them. Most recent accountability ratings, Ditto Elementary earned 6 out of 6 distinctions, so their staff held a celebration that was a recognition provided by Area Superintendent Dr. Christy Buell. So thank you to Christy for doing that for Ditto, and thank you for Ditto teachers and staff and students for their outstanding work and dedication. Beavency Elementary celebrated its 30th anniversary last month with wonderful evening of performances and stories about the campus. Many former staff members and students celebrated. The staff there also located the, I guess, closest living relative of Beavency that was able to join us for the celebration. A really well done, outstanding celebration for Beavency, and I want to thank them, the principal, the staff, everyone involved in that, because they really put together a really nice celebration for 30th anniversary, and you could feel the love in that school. Crow Elementary is transitioning, as you know, to the Crow Leadership Academy, and the school got great news last week. It's officially a candidate for the primary years program in pursuing the authorization of International Baccalaureate World School. So this is really a first, and it's a first obviously for Arlington. It's a first for elementary schools in the area. There's not very many elementary IB schools, if you will, and we're excited. Their staff worked really well together to put this application, if you remember, and have some context of IB applications for high school and other programs that we have in the district. It's a very robust and tedious process. So they're advanced to candidacy, and what that means is that they're well on their way to becoming an IB elementary school. So congratulations to Crow Leadership Academy. This week we recognized our December Teachers and Department Employee of the Month. Congratulations to Jamie Thomas from Sam Houston High School, Karen Flower from Workman Junior High, Janet McDonald from Crouch Elementary, and Nancy Blanton from Finance. And Nancy delivers our mail here. In addition to many tasks, she delivers our mail. And it was interesting when we went to celebrate her, she was not in her office because she was delivering the mail. So we found her, and Tony Drollinger, and we had a big group of people that were trying to find her, basically. We finally found her, and so she's very loving person, and she was very happy and surprised and celebrating all that. And so we were taking pictures, and she said, well, I guess the mail is going to be late today. And so she was kind of, like, I guess I'm going to give up on this mail being on time. So, but thank you to them and the employees. It's a great time for us to go out and recognize their hard work. Finally, we want to take a moment to recognize that tonight is Mark Murray's final board meeting. I know, Mark has been with the district for 35 years. 35 years, and he's gonna retire. So yeah, he's gonna retire in January. And so if we look at those pictures, they say that's Mark. Okay, so and Mark, you're verifying. Okay, so Mark when he was in high school, Mark when he was a teacher, and then Mark now, I guess, and then with a hat. I'm not sure, but cameras, very important to Mark in his life, and then us. And yeah, and that's something. And thank you, Spence, for helping with that. So we'll keep moving. But we appreciate your dedication, Mark. Arlington ISD is blessed to have many wonderful, dedicated employees throughout the entire school district. And Mark Murray, you exemplify that dedication of our employees and the love that you have for this district. And Mark and I go back a ways, and so we've been through a lot. And Mark is never short of words. He's very transparent. When we talk about candor in terms of communication, Mark has that. So Mark, congratulations, and thank you for being such a wonderful, loving employee of our district. And we ask you to maybe, you want him to come to the front. Mark wore a tie today, and so... So
yes,
Mark,
this may be dangerous, Dr. Cavazos, but we are giving him the mic.
Well, we're not. We just invited him to stand up. Maybe no. I'm kidding, Mark. So congratulations, and then let us give you a round of applause for it.
Thank you very much. It's, you know, I've told Dr. Cavazos and Chad and others that next month's going to be withdrawal. I'm fully know that I'm just going to go nuts not doing the things that I'm used to doing. I am really thankful, though, that I had this opportunity to speak up here. Every time that Chad was out, I would actually text Dr. Cavazos and say, all right, get the board to ask some technology question so that I can be the one to come up here and answer that question for you guys. Or when Chad was up here talking, I'd be texting Dr. Cavazos and saying, no, he's really not saying the right thing. This is what you need to know. So, Chad, on behalf of...
TMI.
Yeah. I warned him this year. My tagline was no filter, and that's just what I'm doing. But again, it's you know, Arlington has been a special for my whole family. All my sisters and brother all graduated from Lamar, and I was fortunate enough to be able to go back there and start teaching when I got out of East Texas State University, and so Arlington's been a very, very important to me, but also has taken really good care of me, and I certainly appreciate that. So again, thank you for the recognition.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Now there's things going on with our screen now that Mark's not here. He activated the bomb. I don't know what's happening to our displays here. I can't call on trustees. I don't see anything. Wait, here we go. Okay, I'm back. All right. And yes, thank you, Mark. We are going to miss you. Appreciate everything that you've done over the years here. My tenure here on this board, you've been invaluable in so many different aspects of this district. Thank you. And of course, our latest, the implementation of this technology on the dais. Thank you for that. It's working out really well. We're going to miss you. And you might not want us, but maybe when we're headed where you're going, we'll try to stop in and say hello. So good luck to you. All right. Are there any school board members that have a report? Okay, Mrs. Fowler?
Well, I took my car to the diaper center.
All right.
Am I the only person that did not know that you can do that and they will work on it?
I think so.
Okay, I was the only person that, okay. So I took it there and I said, my brakes are making all kinds of weird noises. And I thought, oh, it's going to be, you know, expensive. It's going to be horrible. They were fabulous. The good news was, I don't know where the squeak was coming from, but my brakes were fine. And the even better news was there was no charge because they said they didn't have to really do anything. But I am taking it back for struts in January, and there will be a charge for that. But they're awesome over there, and they're experts in the field that are the teachers, and they oversee everything, and certain levels of students work on certain things, and they were just tremendous over there. All in one day, had it ready for me, and then gave me the good news that nothing was wrong and no charge. But apparently I was the only person in Arlington that didn't know you could take your car there and they would work on it. But now I know that. Thank you.
Well, that is wonderful, and I don't know that you're not the only one in Arlington. Maybe just around here, it is something that when the word gets out, they're going to really have to limit who they have. Yeah, it is an incredible program out there. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Mrs. Mays.
Thank you, President Reich. I just want to wish everyone a very happy and safe holiday. Hopefully for the hours that we saw earlier on the presentation, y'all can add a new little box. This is maybe hours of sleep and rest that y'all got hopefully over these next couple of weeks for all the hard work that y'all have done. Please make good use of that time to spend some time with your family, get some rest, come back recharged, and be safe.
Wonderful. All right. Let's see. Madam Secretary, do we have any items to consider? No, you can just say it.
No, President Reich.
Very good. Very good. Thank you for that. And I will say this is our last meeting of this year. I hope everybody has a very, very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody. And with that, it is 9:48. This meeting is adjourned.